Hello everybody, my name is Marlo. Today in this Minecraft 1.16 tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build this really cool nether base in the middle of a lava pool. As always, before we begin, here is your list of items needed for the build. So I just do a quick scan over all of these blocks in case you're unsure as to what some of them are, as a lot of these are the new 1.16 blocks, so you may not be too familiar, but everything in this base is pretty much what you will need in a survival situation. It should have you covered on most bases, which is why we have so many other items here that are helpful in a survival world. And then these 9 at the bottom are purely decorative, so if you, for example, don't have a full netherite armor set, don't worry, that's fine. You can put some gold or some iron on this armor stand here or whatever you want and replace this with a skeleton head if you don't have a spare one lying around. So all of these 9 down here at the bottom are decorative, you don't have to get them, but do make sure you gather all of these items to the exact amount needed before you start the build. And most importantly, you're going to need about this much sand, or gravel, or any other block that's affected by gravity for the very first step. So pretty much gather a bunch of this, because you're probably going to need it. The first thing to do is to find a nice open lava pool where we can start building, and then we can swig our fire resistance potion, grab some sand, and then go to where we want the center of the base to be and drop right down to the bottom of the lava pool and just start placing your sand and bring it all the way up to the surface. This can be a little tricky depending on how deep the lava pool is, but we just want to bring it up to level with all of the rest of the lava, and then you can mark it with something. A torch, for example. The next step is to place 6 more blocks going outwards in each direction from the center block that we've just marked. So place your sand down until it reaches the bottom of the lava pool, all the way up to the top, and do that 6 times in all 4 directions. I should probably just interrupt here and explain why on earth I am placing all of this sand, and it's simply to get rid of all of the lava sources and make ourselves a nice little pocket in the lava pool where we're able to build without hassle. Once you've got all that done, you then can make this circle shape by placing some more sand. And then you can go ahead and fill the rest in. Now that we have a big sand pile in the middle of this lava, we can go ahead and get rid of a bunch of it. So pretty much what we're going to do here is break all of the blocks that are going round the outside except the very outside block. So don't break this, otherwise your lava's going to flow inside. Just go all the way around, leaving the outer line of blocks until you connect up to the other side. And we've got something like that, so we can go ahead and get rid of the middle ones as well. And then from this point we want to go down 4 more blocks. So we've already got 1 at the top, so it's actually 5 in total. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's 5 blocks down from the lava level here. So if we just drop down, the quick way to do this is to actually just place a torch or some other block that will get rid of the sand as it falls on top of it. So now you should have something like this, and now is when we can finally start placing some permanent blocks. So the first thing we're going to do is just take out this top layer of sand and replace it with some crimson planks. Just like that. What we're going to do now is come along to one of the sides that have 5 crimson planks on the edge just like this, and we're going to have 2 crimson stairs that face outwards just like this, and then connect those up with 3 strip crimson stems in the middle. So that's 2 stairs facing outwards and 3 strip stems in the middle. And we can do that this side, and this side too. As for the 4 corners, we can place some full plank blocks on those 2 blocks right there, and then have 2 stairs around the front and 2 stairs around the back, just like so. And then in this corner part here, we can place some strip crimson stem coming all the way up for a total of 6 that is right there, and cover these 2 parts up with some trapdoors. And once you've done that for all 4 corners, we then should have something like this. And the next step is to grab your red stained glass and figure out where you want your entrance to be. So you just need to pick one of these sides to leave these 5 blocks empty. So I'm going to put mine over here. So we're going to leave these 5 blocks open and place down 7 red stained glass from stem to stem. So we don't have any there, but then we're just going to fill all of the rest of the top level here in with red stained glass. So we then end up with something like this. This next part is a little bit tricky as we have to be quite fast with breaking and placing blocks. So pretty much we need to remove these 3 layers of sand, ignoring the bottom one for now, but all of this sand on this layer, and this layer, we have to remove it and replace it with some red stained glass. So what I would recommend you do is start off on the top level here and make your way down. So pretty much you break a piece of sand and very quickly replace it with some glass. So you have to do it pretty quick, otherwise you're going to get burnt to death, but it's not too bad really. These open gaps here are a lot easier than the corners. I'll just show you what you need to do for them. So really you need to break 2 sand and place 2 glass in quick succession, as you cannot do one at a time here. So have fun with doing this, try not to burn yourself to death, and then we can actually start some more work on the base, and that'll be the hard part out of the way with. There we go. I hope that wasn't too bad for you and you managed to do this fairly easily. So now what we have to do is come to the very center of the room. So line yourself up with this side and this side as well, and then break that block underneath you. Replace it with a shroom light and then get rid of the 8 blocks surrounding it, just like that. Place a stair facing inwards on all 4 sides, and then we're going to have a strip warp stem facing upwards on the 4 corners, just like that. And then we can go ahead and get rid of all of the sand on the floor level as well. We're going to use some strip warp stem as the main floor block here, and instead of just placing them all facing the same way, looking all boring, we're going to make it a little bit more interesting and add in a checkered board pattern of sorts. So pretty much as we place these, we want to place one facing us, then facing sideways, facing us, facing sideways, and so on and so forth, to create a little bit more of an interesting texture on the floor. Entirely up to you whether you want to add this in or not. You could just place them all the same way. It's really up to you, but I quite like the look of this instead. Now we can finally get rid of this last bit of sand, and for this part I'm actually going to recommend you break the bottom part of this crimson stem here, just so you're able to place these a little bit easier. So we want to grab our polished basalt and place every single one horizontally. So of course you have to place them facing up against another block, otherwise they'll be placed vertically like that, and we want them all facing sideways. So you got to be a little bit smart about how you do this. It shouldn't take you too long and it's not too bad. You can always replace these, but we want to have this on all 3 sides. Once you've got that done, the final thing to do before we can call the main structure fully complete is to add in our staircase to get in and out of the base itself. So from this stair right here, we want to just bring a staircase on downwards until we reach the corner here, and then we can swing it round to the side so we have that shape there. And then underneath all of those stairs, we just want to have an upside down stair just to make it look a little bit better. So that right there is what your staircase can look like, and as you can see, you can get up without banging your head or anything like that. Plus, you should be safe from gas. They can't really see you in here unless you're actually on the staircase itself. The first thing we're going to do down here is place down 4 wart buttons on top of the strip stems like this, and then in the middle here we can have our respawn anchor, which if you don't know is the nether equivalent of a bed. Do not put a bed in your base or it will go bye-bye when you try to sleep, but you can actually load this respawn anchor here with 4 glowstone pieces for 4 respawns, and then if you just right click it, your respawn point is set right here. So if you die in the nether, you'll just be brought back right next to this thing. Underneath the stairs here is where we're going to have our storage, which really is just a stack of barrels and chests. So just place these down willy-nilly, however much or little you want of storage, but just in case you want to use up all of the chests and barrels I said you needed to get in the item list, I'll just show you how to place them in the way that I did so you use up all of the ones that you have in your inventory. So we're going to start with a barrel facing upwards in this corner here, and then we're going to have one facing forwards, another one facing up, and then 2 more facing up, just like this. We can then have a barrel facing forwards and a double chest just beside it, normal chest on top of that barrel, one at the front here, and then another one in this little corner. So if you want to copy my barrel stack design, there you go. If not, just place them however you want. It really doesn't matter. Just to the left of our storage is where the enchanting station is going to go. So along this basalt block line here, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bookshelves, 2 more on top on each of the sides, and then we'll have 3 more just like that And then if I put the enchanting table in the center here, you can see that gets us 30 levels. What do we get on the sword? Not particularly good. And then in the center here, we can have a grindstone and 2 anvils on either side with 2 double chests just on the top of those bookshelves right there. Over in this corner here, just beside the enchanting table, is where we're going to stack up all of our blocks that are very helpful for various survival crafting. So we're going to put our cartographer's table there with a brewing stand on top, crafting table, fletching table, loom, smithing table, and then a stone cutter can go right there. Doesn't look particularly the nicest, but all of these blocks are very helpful in survival, except the fletching table. But I always say, I think it's going to have a use at some point, so it's worth putting in your base. You can always hide them if you really don't like the look of this, but I don't think it looks too bad. Alongside the stack of barrels, I think it works. As for this corner over here, we're going to have 2 polished blackstone brick slabs just like that, and then the stair variant can go upside down here next to the basalt facing inwards, and this is where we're going to have our furnaces. So we're going to have 4 regular ones on the bottom level, and then we're going to have 2 smokers in the corner and 2 blast furnace in the center here, so we have something like that. And then pretty much we're just going to cover up with trapdoors, so we'll have 3 on either side just like that. And then we're going to cover the top ones up with some more. Just make sure you're holding crouch as you do this, otherwise you're going to open the GUI and never be able to place them. So shift while you place them down. The last thing to do inside of this base is actually fill up this corner here with the only part of the build that really serves no function whatsoever and is purely aesthetic, and it's actually just a little writing desk and armor stand. So we're going to place 2 upside down brickstone stairs just like that with a slab in the middle to make a nice little table, and then we can have a chair out the front, so a warp stair with 2 warp signs either side. That's a nice little chair design. I'm sure you've all seen that a million times before. We can have an item frame in the middle with a flower pot on the side and display a crimson fungus or whatever you like really. And now's where it gets a little bit expensive, so I'm going to put a wither skeleton head here, but you can obviously use something else, some sea pickles maybe, or a torch, or whatever you really want. And then just beside it here on the left hand side, the right hand side of the staircase, we can place a armor stand, and in here is where I'm going to have some netherite armor. So just want to shift my way into the middle, kind of get centralized up. Yep, that should be good, and we are now transferred over to the armor stand. Now, I'm going to assume you own an elytra if you're looking to build a base like this, because there really is no easy way across unless you want to swim through lava. But what if one time you die and lose your elytra and you need to get over to safety without having to swig a fire resistant potion every time? So what I'm going to recommend you do is place a crimson fence just beside one of the sides here and actually make use of the new strider mob. So you can spawn these guys in, or you'll just find them in the nether. I think there's some over there somewhere you can see a little bit, and these guys you can actually put saddles on and ride them. It's amazing, and then you can control them with this warped fungus on a stick. It's tons of fun, it's really cool, and then I'm fairly certain if we just take this guy over, shift off, we can actually lead him on up to the fence so he can just be there if we need an escape plan over to the other side without getting all toastified in the lava. And that, everybody, is the build all done. Tutorial complete. I really hope it helped you out if you were looking for a new Minecraft 1.16 nether base, and I hope you're having lots of fun with the new 1.16. I most definitely am, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.